Well, the year is now half over, and these are some of the best books I've read this year. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as the intro said, we are doing a best of video. But before we get into that, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help the channel grow. And you can check the description box down below for links to all my social media, including Discord, Patreon, where you can help just kind of push improvements here on the channel. You can actually see one of them right here. I've got some background lights. You can kind of see one right here. But as you can see, well, I mean, it's kind of out of frame. I'm still learning how to frame these things. These background lights, one of them is broken, so I gotta order another one. Anyway, not that you care. With that out of the way, let's jump into the top 10 books of Q2. Now, I read a lot of amazing books, and I can already tell you what my favorite's going to be, but I'm gonna make you work for it. You're gonna have to sit through and listen to me ramble. But the rambling will come to an end, guys. We're gonna jump right on into the list. And I had probably one of the strongest quarters I think I've ever had. I had some really just amazing reads, like top tier, just stuff that I ended up loving. And we're going to start with a couple novellas just to start the list off. And we've got A Necromancer Called Gamgam by Adam Holcomb and Your Blood and Bones by J. Patricia Anderson. And essentially, these are our first entries into the list. Necromancer Called Gamgam, if you can't see it already, look at this cover. It's got knitting needles, skull with a knitted cap. It's got balls of yarn. Basically, we've got this grandmother necromancer, and it's a horror book that's cozy, and I don't know how Adam Holcomb has kind of mixed those genres together, but he succeeded, and it's amazing. It's fantastic, and it's really short. Please do yourself a favor and check this out. Plus, I mean, I recommend picking up the hardcover because it is beautiful. I really enjoy having this on my shelf. I look at it all the time. Fantastic story. Just the cozy vibes mixed with a little bit of gore, but like not in a horrific way. And I don't know how you made zombies cozy, Adam, but kudos, my friend. Kudos. And then, of course, Your Blood and Bones by J. Patricia Anderson. This one is just fantastic. We've got unnamed protagonists, and this is an analyzation of so many just big themes of self-worth, survival, trying to fit in, and fighting for just the right to be yourself. Oh, everything that goes into this. Again, we got a little bit of horror. Maybe I was in a little bit of a horror mood at the beginning of the quarter. I don't know, but I mean, I just absolutely loved. Again, novella, very short. You can check this one out for, I think it's like $1 or on Kindle Unlimited for ebooks. It's well worth your time. We've essentially got this young girl who is running away from this village because she's started turning into what the villagers consider a monster, and she and this boy have to flee and try and survive in this world that just doesn't accept who they are. It's so incredibly good. Really enjoyed this. All right, now we get to move on to the 8 novels on the list. And I struggled to decide which book from this series I was going to pick. Of course, I'm talking about Andrew Rowe. I had a month of just Andrew Rowe. Well, it wasn't just Andrew Rowe. I read like 7 Andrew Rowe books within 4 or 5 weeks. And the one that sticks out the most is Six Sacred Swords by Andrew Rowe. Not where I would recommend starting the series, but I mean, chronologically, this is like the second series if you're going in chronological order. And this is just a ton of fun. We've got like this weird love triangle between Kara Cerulean and this dragon and a sword. That's right, I said a sword. And it's just so incredibly good as this motley crew comes together. And there's a lot of humor in this. There's just a lot of heartfelt moments. And I just love Kara Cerulean as a character. So this just ended up working for me. It's got some great combat. This one is a laugh a minute. Like, I really enjoyed the Six Sacred Swords series. Nope, Weapons and Wielders is the name of the series. Six Sacred Swords is the name of the book. I'll figure it out eventually. But this one, amazing. So worth your time. Trust me, check out Andrew Rowe. I really wanted to support his Kickstarter for On the Shoulder of Titans, which is Arcane Ascension. Same world, but I got some stuff going on, and so hopefully I can back it on BackerKit once I get that stuff figured out. But then we've got this bad boy. Anthony Ryan, The Wolf's Call. And this is Raven's Blade novel. This takes place after the Raven's Shadow trilogy, where we return to a sole Valen Alsorna POV. And this one kind of ups the darkness in the series a lot, but it also reminded me heavily of David Gemmel's Legend. It's got some of that stuff, but if you took Legend and then you put it in like an Asian setting, it's brilliant. It's beautiful. This was almost as good as Bloodsong. I would say maybe just a notch below Bloodsong, but then again, Bloodsong started it all. My entire love affair with Valen Alsorna. So this one was amazing. I highly recommend fans of Bloodsong read that trilogy so that you can read Wolf's Call. It's so incredibly good. So good. And then I did a video about this. This is Ray Bradbury's Dandelion Wine. And this is basically a short story collection on the magic of summer, what it means to be young in summer, what it means to be in the twilight days of your life, and what is important in life, and what is important within a small town, and family. And it's just, so incredibly beautiful. I really love this. I didn't really expect to love this as much as I did. Like, the first time I started it, I was on a road trip, and I got like an hour into it. Now, granted, I just finished a book, and like I tend to have like finished book paralysis. I don't know what let me know if there's a name for this, or what you would call it. Let me know in the comments down below. But essentially, I just finished a book on this road trip, and then I tried starting Dandelion Wine, and I immediately bounced off. After I got home and a week went by, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try that again. And I was blown away. Just absolutely blown away. This was really, really good and deserves to be talked about among one of Ray Bradbury's great, great works. Oh, so incredibly good. And then if you had asked me at the beginning of the year if a Discworld novel was going to make this list, I'd have told you no. And yet here we have Going Postal. This one's magic. This one is just... This is Moist von Lipwig. He's a con man. He's been captured. And then he's been kind of given a second chance and put to work on resurrecting Ankh-Morpork's post office. And it's hilarious. It's got a lot of great themes on redemption. And it's just, this is one of like I would put this up there with The Night Watch in terms of Discworld. This one's really, really good. And I highly recommend people check it out. You can start your Discworld journey here. I would recommend that. You might not get some of the cameos, because a lot of the City Watch kind of make little cameos throughout. But if you read the City Watch, you would get that. But at the same time, I don't think it would detract from the story. So I don't know what my advice is there. But this one was a banger. I'm cheating a little bit with this one, because I've got this bind up, which I basically read books 2 and 3, one right after the other, and I can't really separate them in my mind. And this is the Keeper Chronicles, the complete trilogy. I believe book 1 is Thread of Shadows? Hold on, let me just cheat a little bit. Okay, so book 1 is Thread of Shadows, book 2 is Pursuit of Shadows, and book 3 is Siege of Shadows. I read Pursuit and Siege within this last quarter, and we've got 2 different protagonists. We've got self-worth again. We've got wanting to reunite and find lost family within Will, and it's just, this entire work is fantastic. I keep meaning to kind of record a why you should read this trilogy. I really need to get that done, but before I get that done, you can look at this video and say, hey, Andrew really recommends this entire trilogy, because I do. I think this is exquisite, and it's basically like just a classic fantasy told beautifully with just a modern voice, and I love that. It's just got, it's got everything that I love. I don't know, wizard librarians. You can see them right here. Book in front of them, magic in the background, librarian, keeper. Anyway, I digress. And then, again, if you had asked me at the beginning of the year if Servant of the Empire was going to be on my list, I'd have looked at you like you were nuts. Because last year, I bounced off of this. Because after coming off of Daughter of the Empire, I was just like, oh, if this series is as good as that, Servant is going to be amazing. And, like, Daughter is this deep, rich, political, character-driven story. And then we kind of jump into Servant of the Empire, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's a little bit more romance in here with this guy named Kevin? And I bounced off of that for some reason. This time I did not. I really enjoyed the relationship of Mara and Kevin. I still kind of struggled a little bit with the first start of the book, but I was prepared for what was coming. I knew what to expect. And because I knew what to expect and I could kind of shift expectations a little bit, I really enjoyed this story. And I'm actually getting ready to start the third book in this series within the next week or two and finish up the trilogy, which I will both be happy and sad about. But yep, Servant of the Empire makes the list right there. And then we've got this bad boy. Surprise to nobody, we've got The Martian by Andy Weir. Again, it's Andy Weir. It's been adapted into a legendary movie that performed really well. The Broken Binding picked it up for their first SSF kind of subscription box edition, which I wasn't able to get my hands on. You know, I really thought that this kind of like moon right here was a planet. It's not. It's a scratch in my book. I don't know why I'm complaining to you about it, but you can kind of see it's got this Mar right here. And I literally thought that was the outline of like, oh, it's this, no, it's just damage to my hardcover. Anyway, sorry, why am I complaining to you? Anyway, this is fantastic. This is... This is great, just standard, solid, modern sci-fi. It's real science. I would say the book has been applauded for getting a lot of real science correct, and just stuff like that. And man, I love the main character. I thought he was funny. He was sarcastic, and he was supposed to be like the bond that held the group together for the mission, the mission to Mars. I can say that. And it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this series. It's Matt Whitney? Is it Matt or Mark? Mark Watney. What am I saying? What's happening? Where am I? Who are you? Anyway, this book, amazing. I'm finally glad to have read it. And then my book of the quarter. I'm going to start trying to do a book of the quarter. Now, I say I want to do that. I have a terrible memory, so if I don't do it next quarter, please don't crucify me. But my book of the quarter, you should already know if you're watching the channel. I gushed about this book just a couple weeks ago. And if you haven't seen the review, I'll put it right up there in the cards. I gushed about this book. We've got Howard Andrew Jones, Lord of a Shattered Land. This is probably going to be in my top 10 of the year. Hands down, very easy choice. I am rating City of Marble and Blood probably starting within 3 to 4 days. I'm very excited to be doing so. But this is basically a modern take, a modern reinvention of classic sword and sorcery. And it's fantastic. Hannivar is an amazing character, and it's told with this chronicle style. And I just love this so incredibly much. If you want my full thoughts on this flawless modern masterpiece, in my opinion, that's my opinion, please go watch that review because I can explain and expound a little further there. But I loved this book. It's beautiful pacing, great characterization, fantastic writing, and Hannivar just rules. So guys, that is my top 10 of the last quarter. Please let me know in the comments down below what some of your favorite reads of the last 3 months. That is March all the way through the end of June. Let me know what some of those are. I would love to just get some great recommendations. But that's all I've really got for you today, guys. So until next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons. Thank you for supporting my passion and my hobby. It means the world to me.